Hello, everyone, and welcome back for some more freshly brewed drag tea. Today, I have with me an energetic dancing diva who exploded onto our screens on season 2 of Drag Race Holland. I'm super excited for you all to get to know her better and learn more about her journey into drag. Of course, we'll be talking all things Drag Race, and I'll be asking some of your questions that you submitted. Please join me in welcoming the amazingly talented Reggy B.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm here. Just got off the kick, and she's a little worn out, but we're here.
Yes, you were telling me before. So you've just been doing drag brunch, is that right?
Yeah, I did the Holy Browns together with Patty Pam Pam, and Chelsea Boy was there as well, and the Chameleon, who's also a very good Dutch drag artist, and we just did brunch. And I'm doing this interview with you, and after this, I'm just gonna eat something very quickly, and then I'm going to Blend Excel because I have a show with Kate Minaj.
Wow. I mean, that is a busy day.
It's a busy day. It's a busy day, but at least I have to paint my face once. So
that's true. Well, you look stunning. Thank you very much. You wouldn't know that you've been dancing for 3 hours. You look great.
Yeah, for the people who know me and go to my shows, I give you a lot. So I just did a little touch up here and there, but we're fine. We're good.
Great. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview. I very much appreciate it in your busy schedule. So obviously, so my subscribers, I'm sure would love to know more about you. I mean, obviously, I think we all fell in love with you on Drag Race. You were so funny and everything. And I think we can all agree that you left too soon. So I guess to start off, it'd be great to sort of hear a bit more about how did you get into drag? How did you start?
I started with drag, I think it's becoming, my 4 years ago now. I think maybe a little less. I graduated as a musical artist, and I did a lot of shows, a lot of begging vocals for Dutch artists and everything, and also with musical, there's auditions for shows. So I did audition for Mamma Mia or these big shows, and then out of a sudden, Kinky Boots came to Holland, and I was like, that is the part I want, because I used to always get booked for like the stereotypical next door boy, the boyfriend, or that kind of thing, and I was just living his dream. So I didn't want to have a part where I have to kiss a girl. So I was like, well, Kinky Boots is the right point. So I did audition and I made it to the finals. And during the finals, you had to be in drag. So I called a good friend of mine, and her name is Abby. Oh my God. And I was like, girl, I need lashes. I need a wig. I need a bodysuit. Help the girl out. And so she borrowed me, and also my drag mother, Queen Beck, who is a biological queen. She helped me with a lot. And then in the show, there are 6 angels in the Kinky Boots show. And I was the last 7th one. And then they cut me out. And then Abby was like, well, do you want to come to my show in drag? And then I did one number there, and it happened to be there were some bar owners in the audience that night. And the next week I had my own show. So I always say my journey, how I start drag, is not the usual. It doesn't go that easy. But because my theater background, I had like a background on the mic. I had a background with dancing, with live singing, and working in audience and everything, like the entertainment package. So I think that was a big help when I started doing drag. The way I looked, honey, oh girl. She wore like one wispy lash on the top, just a small gloss on the lip, and a bodysuit from Forever 21, and that's it.
Wow. I mean, well, that is an amazing way to start in drag. Like you said, slightly, I guess, unusual. But I mean, I guess it was obvious that you were talented and you had the energy and things like that. So, yeah, because
it's hard to say that you're talented about yourself. I know what I'm capable of, So I was like, okay, well, the wig and everything is new, but you've been on the stage before, so let's just roll with it, And I'm also learned in the 5 years I did musical. fake it till you make it, you know? So that's what I did mostly.
That's very important. Fake it till you make it. I think that's great advice for everyone. And it obviously worked because obviously you got on season 2 of Drag Race Holland, which is obviously like the Olympics of drag for any country.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was, I became friends with mostly all of the queens from season 1. Because I was doing all these gigs and I had the ability to book people. So Abby booked me, or I booked Abby, or Patty booked me, or likewise, or I've worked with Jamie before. And then out of the sudden season 1 came and I was like, yes, I'm gonna be the one. And all my friends were like, maybe wait 1 season, because you're still in that Forever 21 bodysuit. Your makeup is better, but the bodysuit is still there. So I waited, and then I saw how season 1 blew up, and I was like, well, I have to be on season 2. So I auditioned, and I got on.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, did you actually audition for season 1, or did you decide just not to do it?
No, because most of the season 1 girls were asked to audition, and season 2 was an open audition call.
Ah, okay, that's interesting to know. I think a lot of people might not know that. So that's really interesting. So
there were a lot of queens asked to audition, so they still had to do the audition. But nobody knew season 1 was coming, except for us drag queens, in Backstage. Like, did you hear? Ooh, but also the queens from season 1 didn't know it was going to be on WoW Presents until the week before it aired.
Wow. Yes, I think actually I remember Ivy's. Someone said it on an interview that they didn't realize. I think it was Envy. I think Envy said that she didn't realize it was going to be on Maya Presents until really clear. They thought it was only going to be on Dutch TV.
Yeah. It was like on this. We have like Videoland, who is like the Dutch Netflix. And then they told us, well, WoW Presents wants it. So that's why it became so big, and that's why also the opportunity of season 2 came.
Wow. So can you talk me through a bit? What was it like auditioning for season 2? What was the process?
Well, the USA version and also the UK version, it's nothing like that. We had to send in a video of like 3 minutes where we answered 5 questions. I think 5 questions, told why we have to be on the season. And then you got an invite to do a confessional shoot. So you were in the workroom-ish, and you were doing a confessional. Then you had to do a mini game, a mini challenge. And then after that, you were asked back, and then they said, well, you have to read this out. And it was like a paper, and it was going fast. And they were saying it as, it's not a challenge, but it ended up, well, my name is Reggy B and I'm on season 2. And then they filmed that reaction. It didn't air. I don't know where that tape is, but they aired us doing a mini challenge where we see that we're on the season. So it was actually like a video, a confessional, and that's it.
Oh, wow. That's so cool, though, that they got you to like say that you were on the season. You didn't even realize that was what it was.
No, it was like we had to present the news, and it was like bad weather, but like the, how do you call it? The thing with the words that goes up and down that you read as a presenter.
Oh, a teleprompter.
Yeah, that. But it was going fast as a challenge. And then it ended it with like, I'm Reggy B and I'm on season 2. And I was like, are we filming? Is this okay? And then I started crying and everything. It was really, I just wish they posted that. Videoland, if you hear this, post a video.
Yeah, that sounds great. I would love to see. That would be so funny and like a really candid moment as well.
Yeah, because the girl was like with her iPhone like this. I was like, why are you filming this with an iPhone? Like, what are we doing? But then it all made sense. And we did have to fill in a form with like questions like who you were, what are you going to do for Snatch Game? Who are your enemies in the scene was also a question. Shady bitches.
Ooh.
So I just typed some names in. So because I was like, if I type in names, they're probably also going to cast those because they want to stir drama, So I just typed in some names I knew for sure weren't going to be on the season, because I was like, well, then at least we don't have drama.
That's so funny. I've never heard of them doing that. That's really funny. But I guess I can see why they want drama, so they would ask the question. But that's
It's a reality show. It's a reality show at the end of the day. They
yeah,
say it's called they say it's called Drag Race, but it's a reality show.
yeah. It's shady race.
Yeah, it's Big Brother with heels.
That's true. That's a great way of describing it. And so obviously you get on, obviously, and you walk into the workroom, and you're actually the first queen of the season to walk in. What does it feel like? And obviously you do your cool reveal and everything. And what does it feel like to walk in and be the first one?
Well, it was really nice to walk in the workroom first because my drag mother Abby, oh my god, was also the first one to walk in the workroom.
Yes.
They did tell me the day before, listen, you are gonna be the first one. We're just telling this so you don't panic, but so you know that you have to improvise because nobody's gonna be there. So, but it also means that I had to wake up at 4 a.m. because I got picked up in full drag at 8.
Oh my God.
And I had to be in full drag. The only thing I could put on were my heels.
Oh my God. That's insane. 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and imagine going to bed, knowing the next day you're gonna be on Drag Race, knowing that you have to wake up at 4. Did you think I slept?
No,
Absolutely not.
I would not be able to sleep at all, even if I wasn't on drag, even if I knew that I was just like waiting to go on something. There's no way.
Yeah. Even my friends were like, oh, I slept, I woke up and thinking, oh my God, So yeah, that was the thing. But it was really fun to work in the workroom first because I got to see everybody's entrance. They only saw my entrance whenever it aired because nobody saw my entrance. And I had this dress on with the reveal, everything. So I was like, and ended up in a bodysuit, and everybody was like, "You're just in a bodysuit." I was like, "No, I did a reveal, guys. I did a reveal. I'm sorry, but nobody saw."
Yeah, well, we got to see, and I think that was a really cool because you were one of the only ones that did like a cool reveal. So I thought that was a really good way to like set the tone of going in and doing that cool reveal.
Yeah, I did. I tried to set the tone. Ended up in the bottom though, but we're fine.
And then obviously, so as in the first episode, I thought you were really like throughout the 2 episodes that you were there, I thought you were like really funny, and your confessionals were always really good. You were like the narrator for those two episodes.
People say that a lot. That I'm the narrator of the first 2 episodes at least.
Yeah, you were, because you had some really funny lines. They always cut to you, especially in the second episode. There was like mostly just you.
Because I left.
Oh, that was what I was going to ask. Do you think it's because you left, or do you think it was just because you gave some funny confessionals?
Well, the thing is, the questions they ask in the confessionals when we're recording are mostly all the same. They just change to the person that is sitting there in the confessionals, because we have to answer like everybody's runway from everybody, if you like it or not. So they take the best they like, but because I leave, I think I think they gave you a little bit more of like a screen time, but they also do it with girls that are like, oh, I cannot dance, I'm so bad at dancing, and then slay a dance challenge, Again, it's a reality show.
You've got to make drama.
Yeah, exactly.
And to the confessionals, do they film them all in one go, or are they filmed at different points?
You mean during the days, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we recorded the entrances and the talent show on the same day. And then the next day we recorded the runway and the lip sync. And then the third day we recorded with the confessionals, which is fucked up because you have to be last week or this week or tomorrow. Wow, it's been 3 days, you have to be all in present or past, and they correct you all the time. But it's hard to get to be talking about, oh, this week, wow, it's literally been like 2 hours,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask because I think that's what people find quite interesting. Because obviously, no, that's nothing that as an audience we wouldn't know any of this. You have to be on the show to kind of know this. So when
But
I
it also depends on the challenge, because I think for the Rusical they took like 4 days to rehearse, and then on the fifth day they recorded it, and then they give you a day off, and then they do confessionals.
okay, that's interesting because
It depends. It depends on the episode.
yeah, because I did an interview with your season 2 sister Juicy Couture, and
Yeah.
obviously she only lasted one episode, but she said,
And in the episode, they made it seem like the talent show was the next day. But what they actually made us do is take off our makeup, take like a small break, and then we had to put our makeup back on, pretend like it was the next day for the talent show.
did they do the same?
The only way you can clock that is because of me, because I wear in my talent show, I wear the same nails as I wore in my entrance look, because I was like, I'm not gonna take off these nails, glue new back on while I have to be, because we only got an hour and a half to get out of drag and into drag for the talent show.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. So you see the same, I have the same nails on. Well, it's very like a small detail, but I have the same nails on in my talent show as I have in the entrance look.
I'm sure people will go back and we'll find that and we will clock that. And then the thing because then when Juicy said that, it made me wonder. So obviously in the second episode, it was the sewing challenge. Now, they showed obviously you getting the challenge and getting all the materials, and then they showed the second day and then you coming back into the workroom and pretending that you had like just woken up. Was that true, or was that the same day?
Those were 2 days. So we shot like the mini challenge on the bike. Then we had to take off our drag, and then we were in the workroom, and then we saw it's gonna be a sewing challenge. Yay! And then I think we were in the studio until 1 at night. And we took our stuff to the hotel room. I've been working on it till 5 in the morning. And then we shot the next day at 8 in the morning. So we only slept for like an hour or 2.
Oh my God. That is insane.
It was your own choice. Like if you finished it the day itself, obviously you could take some more hours, but I think nobody finished that same days. I think the only one who slept the most were maybe Tabita. But I think Vivaldi didn't sleep at all. The Countess didn't sleep at all. So we got the call from, because we don't have a phone, so you get the wake up call from the hotel in your heart. Oh, wake up! You're like, shut the fuck up. And then and then you go downstairs, and we were all like zombies. So we told the crew, like, can we at least put on a little bit of boy makeup before we go on, because we looked horrendous.
Oh my God! I can see why. I mean, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it was not cute.
So going back to the first episode, we'll come back to the sewing challenge a bit. So for the first episode, you did the talent show, and you did a rap.
You may be summer in April, but in March I'm still icy. Try to come for my saying, but my words are more spicy.
Yes.
So I think on the show you sort of talked about the reason you did a rap is because of all the people that didn't want you to be a drag queen or whatever. Can you kind of talk a bit about that?
Well, because what I just told is that the way I do my work, as in how I started doing drag, a lot of people work really hard in drag, and then after 2 years finally have their own show. I only did one free performance and I had an own show. So I get that people got frustrated about that, like the older queens and everything. And I got a lot of hate because like, why does she get her own show? She only did drag once in her lifetime. I didn't even have an Instagram account. And then I really thought during that, like, oh, well, maybe, you take the gig. And I was like, at some point, like, no, there's a reason people want me. There's a reason people book me. So I'm going to bring that reason. And if they want you, then they should have booked you. And I became really petty about it. And I started writing the lyrics from the song I've been having in my head for at least like 2 or 3 years, even before Drag Race season 1. So this was a great opportunity to spread the world of my words of what I felt.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be responsible for what other people think. If they want you, then that's no one's problem except for their problem. So, like, good for you. People obviously liked you. If you did one show and got a career from that, then it obviously shows that you were like born to do this.
Yeah, and imagine if I was on Kinky Boots. Imagine. Then there wouldn't be any Reggie, I think.
Well, so I guess it's good that you kind of didn't get on, for us at least. As
definitely. Yeah, for sure. And also the funny thing is because the show told me like, we're gonna book this intern. So sorry. And then the show got canceled after like 2 weeks of performing. I was like, haha, fuck you.
It's obviously because they didn't have you. That's what it is.
I don't know. I think it was Corona during that time. The whole Corona thing started. But I was like, well, I get to work at bars. You don't. So,
well, it's good for us as the audience because we obviously got to see you on the show, and you were really cool on the show. What was it like filming the talent show?
Not to get in any problems. It was a moment. Let me tell you that. Because I recorded the song in the studio and I was like, well, it's a rap, so I can do it live. And then when I got there, the music was bad. The sound was bad. Like I couldn't hear myself or anything. So I was like, well, can I do it again? And I didn't. But everybody else, except for me and Juicy, and there was one more queen. Me, Juicy, and one more queen were the only 3 queens who got the chance to do it once. So recording it once. So if I could go back, I would have been harder and told the crew, no, bitch, I'm gonna do it again, but like lip sync to it. So I felt really bad that day already that I didn't get the chance because everybody got a chance to do it. Some people even did it 3 times, I think, the recordings of the talent show. So when I got eliminated, I wrote an email like, hey, love you, but take out the microphone and just put on the track. There you go. And also what I was really, really like mad about was that we had to prepare 1.5 minutes and they showed 28 seconds.
Right.
And the way they cut it, like if you love the song or don't, that's a whole like personal opinion, but don't cut a song from somebody from 1.5 minutes up until 28 seconds. Then tell me you have 30 seconds, but don't tell me I have 1.5 minutes and then cut it into 28. Yeah.
So I guess basically they cut the song, and that's kind of why maybe it sounded a bit odd because they had cut it.
The way it was cut made it sound odd. Also, the way it was streamed made me, because I agree with the fact that you couldn't hear me that well, but if you listen on the version on Spotify, you can definitely hear me.
Yeah, and like to be honest, when I watched it, I didn't really think it was like bad or anything. And even the judges, when they were giving their critiques, they weren't really saying that much about the performance.
Oh, wat vond je van Reggy B? Ik denk dat je weet wat je wilt, maar op het moment dat je ons aankijkt, kijk je ook weer een klein beetje weg. Ik zie bij jou een kleine onzekerheid.
Really, the only thing they hardly said anything on camera. At least they didn't show much of your critique. The only thing
they did say, this is so funny. They did say, 2 of them said, well, I'm not a big fan of rapping. I don't like rap music or that kind of thing. What did they do in the season, in the finals? They had to make their own rap.
Yeah, that's like a bit silly.
Just saying. Yeah, I'm not saying to steer the pod. Just saying.
Hashtag.
And they loved it. They loved it during the finals. They loved it. But when I did it on the first episode, I'm just being petty and funny. I love it. I'm just making jokes out of all of it.
You've got to make a joke out of it. Because they hardly said anything bad about it. The only thing they mentioned was your look, really, as in your runway look. They said they didn't like the makeup and the wig, but they didn't really say anything about the challenge. And to me, the challenge is usually the main thing.
Yeah, no, it was mostly the outfit and the hair. Yeah.
Do you agree with the fact that you were in the bottom in the first week?
Yes and no. Because in the bottom were me, Ivy, and Juicy, and I think talent show wise, Ivy was definitely in the bottom, for my opinion. The thing she did with something. I wasn't a fan of Ivy's look, but you know, at the end of the day, it's the judge's decision. So yeah, it's like a yes or no for me.
Okay. And so obviously, unfortunately, you did fall in the bottom with Juicy. When I spoke to Juicy, because I did an interview with her recently, she said,
I knew that I was going to go home because, you know, I had to lip sync against Reggie, you know, and she's like such a good performer. But, you know, the second that I knew I was in the bottom with her, I just smiled and I had to like hold in my laugh. And Reggie was like, what's going on with you? And I was like, I know I'm going to go home. So, you know.
How did you feel about it? Did you kind of think the same thing? Or were you like really nervous that she was going to pull something out?
Before the song started, because the thing is, they say to you, okay, Reggie B, I'm sorry, but you're in the bottom. And on TV, it's like, yeah, they boom, 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 the lines, and they go like that. But for us, it's like, okay, Reggie B, you're in the bottom. And then they cut, and they give you a glass of water that you can chill down. You get like at least like 5 minutes before they finally say, okay, here we go. So that you can like get yourself together. During those 5 minutes, I was like, I don't need any water. I don't need water. I'm fine. Start the music. I'm fine. Because I was like, I've had it. Like Physical, out of all the songs of our season, this was my favorite lip sync number. So I was like, I'm fine. And I know Juicy didn't do any performances yet. I love you. You're my sister, but I'm fine. But during the lip sync, I heard everybody laugh, but I didn't saw what she was doing. So I was like, then I was like, oh, maybe, no. Is it? Am I the drama? You know, that kind of started everything. I don't think I'm the drama. Am I? I'm the villain. That kind of thing. I was like, well, maybe there's an opportunity. But then we were holding hands. She's like, you got this, girl. You got this, girl. Like, I don't know, girl. But yeah, I got it.
You did. Yeah, you did. I mean, that was a great lip sync as well. So with the lip sync songs, I was curious, so they give you an iPad with all the songs on it. How long in advance do you know which exact song is going to be the lip sync song for that particular episode?
Physical, we knew the day before we went, before we got picked up at home, because they sent you an email like, okay, pack your stuff, but leave your club night outfit, your talent outfit out of it, and also prepare Physical. So we knew that. But the other songs, I think we all had our songs like at least a month before we went on, the cut version. I think the day before they tell you which song it is. Yeah,
wow.
The day before.
So you basically
that's why some people don't know their lyrics. I'm not saying names, but it happened. It happened.
I mean, because you have to prepare all the songs, but you don't know basically what week they're going to come up. So you just have to prepare all of them, and then they tell you the day before you're going to do this song, and then you have to do it.
Yeah, and we were also given more songs than there were episodes.
That was going to be my next question, because I heard that from someone else, and I thought that was really interesting. So how many songs was it like lots of songs extra or just like a couple?
I think like 11.
11 extra songs?
No, like 11 songs in total.
Right. But there weren't that many episodes.
No, and they also cut out one because there was a song. I'm not gonna say which it is, or because I'm not gonna be a problem. But they cut out, but they gave us a song, and I called to them. And I was like, "Are you sure you were gonna do this song? Because there are some words that white people can't say in this song. So, do you want to be problematic?" And they were like, "Oh, thank you so much, Reggie." I was like, "Well, should have listened to it before I did, but okay."
That's so bizarre. Yeah, you'd think like you want to take out a song that could be problematic for anybody, even if it's like swear words or just something that's going to be a
good
bit...
song. It's a good song. But I told them, like, if I'm gonna lip sync, I'm not gonna lip sync to that song. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair enough. I would think the same thing if it was a song that you don't feel comfortable. So obviously, so you win the first lip sync against Juicy. And so the next week you come in and you find out that you're doing a mini challenge, and you walk in and you see the bike.
Yeah.
What did you think about? Did they tell you anything about what the challenge was going to be?
No, they didn't even tell you wear something that can get wet. They didn't even tell that. We didn't know at all.
Oh, wow.
No, then the only thing, because you have like the room where the bike was, and we were like 2 walls behind it waiting until to be put on one by one. There was like a tube going from the kitchen to that room, and we were like, is that tube attached to something watery? So we knew there was going to be water, but we didn't know what would happen at all until you walk. Like the reaction you see of us is real.
Wow, that's so cool, because I always wondered, I thought, well, do they get told? Because that's quite like a big thing to get wet and to have to wear something, because pretty much everyone had like their panties, their like underwear showing and stuff, because obviously you're sat on a bike.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always wondered whether you got told beforehand, whatever, but you didn't.
No, they didn't. And also, the thing is with mini challenges and everything, it's sometimes better you don't know, because they just go with the flow,
Yeah, and I mean, and you were really funny and everything, and I think you made Fred laugh when you were doing it. And what did it feel like being on that bike? Was there a moment of like, this is my life?
It was hilarious. I think they only showed like a couple of seconds of everybody, but I was on that bike for at least like 2 or 3 minutes, like going like that, like biking, and also that wind machine insane. If I didn't hold on, I would literally blew up the thing. It was insane. The water was ice and ice cold that was raining on you. Your lashes were like going like this because of the wind. But I had really fun. I thought it was really fun. And also it was also really funny because we were after you did the challenge, you walked around the workroom to take off your makeup, and everybody that was before you was like sitting there like like that, because they just finished it as well. Yeah, it was really funny.
Wow. No, that's so cool. That was a cool mini challenge as well. Like, it was really funny.
Yeah.
And so obviously you back in the workroom and they tell you it's going to be a sewing challenge. What did you think about that?
Well, they told us beforehand, before we got onto the show, that there's gotta be a sewing challenge. So I did prepare. I have my like my bodies and everything, and I have like my measurements. The only thing that I had during that day was, I'm very creative, but at some point I just completely blocked. I don't know what happened, but I just completely blocked. And I made 4 dresses, actually. Yeah, I made 4 different kind of dresses, and I hated all of them. And then at some point I just had to pick one. So I lost a lot of time because I did it. I just, sometimes your brain doesn't work with your day, and that kind of happened, and that got me stressing. And they also ask you to record reality, so they're also like, okay, you sit over there and ask her about her dead cat, so you're like, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, it really is a race, I guess, then.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, it was a really hard for everybody. For everybody, it was even for like Vivaldi and the Countess, who are really good at like making and creating stuff. Also, they had a really hard time.
Yeah, I mean, those were weird materials, like a crocodile and like some tent poles. Like that was weird.
Like, girl, when we saw that, we were like, there is nothing stretchy, nothing is fabric, except for like this bug thing you can put over your bed, that Vivaldi had. So we were like, what the fuck? What the fuck, Fred? Girl.
That was a hard challenge. I think unless you're a sewer and you've done a lot of with unconventional materials, like I think you'd struggle to do it with material, let alone doing it with crazy camping stuff.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, but it's just at least get us some fabric.
Yeah, because like, you did like a sleeping bag look, right? So I guess that's kind of fabric, but also probably like not at all. Like it's quilted.
Yeah, I had 3 sleeping bags that I cut open and sewed together, and then I had like this belt thing that I put around my arm, my waist, and then I was like, well, let's just go with a theme, because maybe if I go with a theme, then so I had like this sleeping mask. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be Sleepy Reggie, Sleepy B, as that's how it kind of worked out. And then I walked onto the runway and broke my heel.
That was going to be my next question, because I think of all the runway presentations, that was like the craziest, because I don't think I've actually seen that happen on any season that I can think of. Like, what happened?
No. Well, I had like all my shoes for my runway looks, and I had like a couple cheap ones for mini challenge and everything, but I couldn't just find a good shoe that would fit this look. And then I found these, and they were cheap. And I've been walking on them, because the thing is, you get ready and then you wait for each other to go on and go on and go on, and I was the last one to go on. And so I've been in these heels for at least 2 hours before I even hit the runway. So I was like, the heel was fine the whole entire 2 hours, and then I walked and I just clicked my ankle and the whole platform broke off. The judges didn't notice until I turned around, and I stood there, and the crew from Backstage came to me like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And then Fred and someone else said, "Do you want to do it again? Or put another heel on, or do you want to do it again?" I was like, you know what? This could happen in real life. This is me. I continued with a broken shoe. If that would have happened on a stage when I was booked and my heel broke off, I also would not cut off the music. I would just keep going with whatever I have. So keep the tape.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I would have assumed that you didn't get a choice, like, because it's obviously it makes great TV.
Yeah, no, they gave me an opportunity to do it again, but I denied it. I was like, no.
No, well, I when I watched that, you did not react at all. I was so impressed. You barely. I didn't even notice it until they kind of like zoomed in and sort of said it. I didn't even notice, and I was like, good for her for like just walking and going for it, and you didn't even notice it. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm happy I didn't do it again, because I got a lot of love of like the keep going, and that's also kind of what I'm known here for in Amsterdam in the performance scene. Whenever I'm sick or not feeling well, I still show up, well, not now during Corona pandemics, but that's my thing. And it's also what I learned in my musical theater background. You don't get a day off, so you have to do what you got to do.
No, I mean, you've got to just keep going.
There you go.
So with your runway look, they said basically they weren't like that big of a fan of the runway look, but they loved your presentation. Did you feel the same way? Like, did you know it wasn't great, or were you proud of what you had done? Because I thought actually it was pretty good. Didn't think it was bad at all.
Yeah, no, I definitely knew I was in the bottom that day, because of the look. But when I got my critiques and they said, well, we appreciate your presence and the way you performed it and the way you just didn't show what happened to your heel and everything, I was like, am I gonna be safe? No, that cannot be true. But am I? So I was like kind of fucking with my mind. And then Ivy also got some really bad critiques. And Tabitha got some bad and good critiques. So I was like, I really didn't know what was gonna happen. I knew if I was in the bottom, I would agree with it. But the critiques went up and down for Ivy, Tabitha, and me.
Yeah, I think that, it was from the judges' critiques, you could kind of tell it was going to be between you three. Did you agree with the decision for you to be in the bottom for that particular week?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And so obviously, unfortunately, you were in the bottom against Ivy. How did it feel knowing, because you and Ivy, I guess, because Abby's your drag mother, and Ivy, I think, would be your auntie, right? Because she's Abby's drag sister. So were you already close to Ivy from before?
Yeah. We did it. Ivy and I have been doing a couple of gigs and everything, and I knew it. Ivy and I got a lot together. They didn't show it, but Ivy and I were always sitting next to each other doing our makeup. We were in our hotel rooms. We had dinner together always. So yeah, we were getting close during the season. Yeah.
So when you were lip syncing against Ivy, how did you feel? Did you feel like you were going to stay, or you were going to, how did you think it was going to play out?
I actually didn't. I actually had no clue, because I was like, well, this is a power ballad song, so she could go with that. And also she was wearing something where she couldn't do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twirl thing, because she was stuck in this suit. I was able to dance. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna dance. A lot of people had reaction that it's not a song to like do the dance for that I did, which I can agree on. But at the end of the day, it's a lip sync for your life. So I was like, I need to show what I have. And I could have done the same what Ivy did, do the whole emotional thing. But at that point, that just didn't feel right for me. So when I watched it back, the second episode, I was like, wow, I did actually pretty good. I could have been safe as well.
Yeah, it was a great lip sync performance from both of you. And I was watching, I was like, I don't really know which way they're going to go, because like you said, you were very different. You were more like dancey, whereas she was more like emotional, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So obviously, unfortunately, you get told that you are leaving the competition. How did that feel in that moment? And, were you expecting it, or did it really hit you?
Oh no, it really hit you. I am not a crier. All my friends know I don't like emotions. But at that point on that stage, I really thought it was the end of the world. I really thought. I finally understand when I see these interviews with like queens who are going home first or second or whatsoever. Because drag is so personal, and it's so like, it's me that you see on stage, and you don't get the chance to show that. So I was more devastated about the fact that I didn't get to show who I really was and what I'm capable of, than the fact that I left that early. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it was, I did not have a great day.
I mean, you could tell you were upset, but you had like a really funny exit line. You made everyone laugh. I think you definitely went out on a high in terms of like you could tell everyone liked you. You were like the narrator for those 2 episodes. Like you weren't just the hidden person that you never see. You were like one of the main people that they always showed. So I think you had a great run on the show, even though it was too short.
Thank you. I agree.
And so one thing I wanted to ask was, when you actually get eliminated, do you actually go home, like actually home, or do you have to stay in the hotel until the end?
No, I had to stay in the hotel that night. And then we had dinner with everybody together. Then I got my phone back, and then the next day you're allowed to pack your stuff and go home. And because I live like 30 minutes away from the studio, I told them like, just put everything in the truck, and I just want to go home, and at least I have my things, because you were also allowed to leave your stuff and that it will be delivered later on. But I was like, you know what? I can go home now, which means I can work, because I was able to like not work for 4 weeks if I was on Drag Race. But now I've been there for 1 week, 5 days. So I need all my stuff so I can go back to work. And they told me like, oh, well, can you at least stay at home for like the upcoming 3 weeks? I was like, are you serious? You just eliminated me and I have to stay in my room for 3 weeks while I also can make like thousands of euros working in the city? Absolutely not. Get my makeup and put it in a truck. And they were like, oh, but be quiet. I was like, well, why do I have to be quiet? Nobody knew I was on the, everybody knew I was on the season, but nobody knew I was on the season,
Yeah, like that's crazy. They can't expect you to not work for 3 weeks. That's a lot of time and money.
Yeah. So yeah, they understood it at some point.
Yeah. So one thing we just touched on was, obviously you said, everyone kind of knew you were on the season or whatever. Did you know anyone who did you know from your cast, and did you know about anybody in advance was definitely going to be on it?
I knew definitely was going to be Tabitha, because Tabitha is one of my best friends in the drag scene, everything. And also besides that, we hang out a lot. I definitely knew Ivy, because Ivy wasn't casted for season 1. So I knew she was going to be casted for season 2. I definitely knew Vivaldi. I also knew Puni and Kate. The only one I didn't know exactly were Juicy and Vanessa.
Okay, but as in, did you know them like personally? You didn't know they were going to be on. But
Sorry. Yeah. I knew everybody personally. I've worked with everybody except for Juicy, because she didn't have any gig back then. And Vanessa, I didn't work with them. But I've worked with Tabitha so many times. I've been hanging out. I've been hanging out at her house all the time, or she's here. Obviously, I know an Ivy. I've worked with Vivaldi once. I've met the Countess before the show. And also, funny fact, we had to quarantine 2 weeks before we got picked up to the show. So before we had to quarantine, I went to Juicy, because she does eyebrows. She does like the plugging and the painting and everything. So I went to her the day before we had to quarantine, and we were like, hey bitch, hey, hi, how are ya? So what are you gonna do tomorrow? And we were both like, yeah, I have a few days off, so I'm just gonna chill. And we looked at each other like, I have to quarantine. And she was like, no, I'm just going to be at home and everything. So the day before we had to quarantine, we were together, and we didn't know we were on the season from each other.
Oh, that's so funny. And then you saw her walk in, because is that why because when she walked in on the camera, you like laughed a little bit? Is that why?
Yeah, because I was like, I've been at your house like 2 weeks ago, and I was sure you weren't on the season. I was sure you weren't on the season, because, not to be shady, but she isn't that. She just started doing drag, and she didn't have any experience in the gigs and everything. She's hilarious and she's gorgeous. And I think being gorgeous and being hilarious isn't a talent you can buy or anything. But I was like, I don't know if that's gonna bring you on the season, and it did. And it also paid off good, because everybody saw how funny she is and how gorgeous she is and how gorgeous she thinks she is herself.
Well, I guess you've got it. If you don't promote yourself, no one else is going to, right?
Yeah, no, and she definitely branded herself, and she kept on doing that. So I'm really proud of Juicy.
Yeah, I think you ordered well, especially, you didn't have like a huge amount you had a couple of years of experience, but compared to some of the queens, you had like very little experience, and you still managed to. And so obviously, so the name of my channel is Drag Tea Served. So I was wondering if you could serve us some drag tea and tell us any kind of unaired moment or like a really cool thing that wasn't shown on TV, you know, something that you wish had been shown?
Well, there is a photo of me and Tabitha. It's on Tabitha's Instagram account where we hold each other's hands when we during the sewing challenge. Because I was going through a moment because I didn't know what was happening with my material, and I was like, fuck this shit. And she had kind of that same moment, but Tabitha and I are so close, and we knew from each other that we're on the season. We've been FaceTiming each other during quarantine and everything. So she came to me and she was holding my hand like, listen, one of us does not need to be the bottom because I don't want to lip sync towards you. You're my sister, and if I have to lip sync towards you or you against me or whatever, we were like, so you're like, I love you, so just stay focused. At least one of us has to be safe, not the two of us. And that was all filmed and everything, and I wish that was aired.
Yeah, that would have been a really nice moment, I think, because they didn't really they showed you two interacting like a tiny bit, but you wouldn't have known that you two were really close from what they showed.
Oh. Yeah, no. Yeah, but the thing is also, and I also wish it was because Tabitha all the time had her funny moments and everything, and she was like ka all the time. But that like showed like a real part of Tabitha, you know. So it's like, you know, also of course in her family resemblance episode, but that's the Tabitha I know, the girl who takes care of you and everything. Yeah,
she seems sweet and really funny and everything. So yeah. Okay, she's well, so that yeah. So you wish that had been aired. Okay, well, great. So I'd love to get on to a couple of questions that my subscribers sent in, if that's okay.
Okay, let's go.
I had quite a few questions, so I've kind of condensed them down, or if they were like duplicates, I've just put them in. Okay, perfect. To start off, there were several comments that weren't really questions. They were basically just saying that Reggy B is hot. That's kind of all they said.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
So people were like,
again.
That was the question. People were like, is Reggy single?
I am single since a couple of weeks. Yes.
Well, sorry to hear that, but good for the subscribers, I guess.
Yeah, right before Valentine's Day, I broke up.
Oh, well, sorry to hear that, but I mean, are your DMs open? I mean,
my DM is open and my PayPal as well.
Okay, so well, that was one question, not really a question, but you know. So the one question I had was, which of the other queens were you closest to in the competition? I guess you kind of already said that, but
yeah, Tabitha, definitely.
And
Juicy as well. Tabitha and Juicy.
Okay, so the two of them. That's cool that you had like two sisters that you knew well and everything.
Yeah.
So this question, I'm sure you've maybe been asked a lot of times. What were your thoughts on the Vivaldi situation and the illegal phone?
Well, I love Vivaldi and I love working with Vivaldi. And if I was on that episode with her and she didn't got eliminated without doing the lip sync, I would have been really mad. I think personally, if a queen does something like that or has a phone or does something against the rules, just like Willem, just get off. Also, I was like, it's just a phone. What are you gonna do with it? You know, I was like, you know, what did you gonna do? She told me later, like a couple of weeks ago, it's like, I only use it for porn. I was like, well, understandable. That's what I would have done with my phone. I would be on Twitter all the time. But yeah, I do think you have to follow the rules, you know, and also it's the same with like being nice to the crew. And, you know, if you're not nice, they have to like tell you like, okay, girl, sit your ass down. You're not Bianca Del Rio or Bob the Drag Queen yet. So yeah, if I was there, I would have said, no, you have to go home. And I would be really upset if it didn't happen. But nowadays I'm like, yeah, well, whatever, it happened.
Yeah, there's a difference between like a friendship and then in the competition, you have to follow the rules and you have to kind of, you're almost
yeah, definitely. if Tabitha had a phone and she's like one of my besties, if Tabitha had a phone, I would also be like, sorry girl, I love you, but get the fuck off my runway.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. If there are rules, you have to follow the rules, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But that's funny that she was using it for porn. I mean, that's so funny.
Well, that's what she told, and also because at some point it broke. She dropped the phone and it broke the screen or something. I don't know what's happening, but whatever. It happened. It happened.
It happened. Yeah, I mean, it happens, right?
Yeah.
So someone asked, looking back at your run on season 2, what would you have changed?
The hair in episode 1. And yeah, it's gonna sound very cheesy, but I want to enjoy it more. Because I was in my head, because I was in the bottom for 2 episodes straight, so I was in my head all the time, and I would have wanted to enjoy it more, because I was during filming, I didn't realize I was on Drag Race. It just happened after, when I got home, that I just did fucking Drag Race. But I would have wanted that during filming,
Yeah, you enjoy the moment a bit, live in the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's difficult. That's difficult when it's your first time doing something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, well. So, and another question was, what was your favorite look that you presented on the show, or perhaps a look that you didn't get to show that you wanted to show?
My Beauty and the Beast look. The one, let me get it. The one where from the Monster Ball. That was like the one I was really excited about.
Yeah.
Because it goes so beyond my this one.
Yes, that one was amazing. I saw it on your Instagram. I was like, that one was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It had a tail, it had the horns, it had the mouth thing, and I also was gonna have the rose, and just pull the rose, put the rose in my mouth. I was gonna make a whole act out of it. And funny fact, Patty Pam Pam made that outfit.
Oh wow! And she was on season 1, right?
Yeah, also left episode 2. So
yes.
when I got home, I was like, it's the curse of the episode 2 sisters. I'm not letting you make any more outfits for me.
Yeah, that I loved. That was like, I saw that on Instagram. I was like, that's a stunning outfit. Like, that would have been so cool on the runway. So shame you didn't get to use it. But have you used it since? Like, are you going to use it for a gig?
I'm gonna sell it.
Ah, okay.
Because when am I gonna wear a half Beauty and half Beast look? When? Not even during Halloween, because the hoop skirt is huge.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I suppose maybe you can get some good coin for it then. I hope.
I hope so, because it was expensive.
Do you sew your clothes yourself, like make it, or do you get a designer to make it?
No, the thing is, like, I can like sew something that like ripped or something or whatever. I can do that, obviously. Do I want to do it? No. That's a different kind of question. And also, like, now when I have the time to like sit down and chill, I have like the creative mind to like say, okay, this and this, and I'd rather give it to a professional than buy a lot of material and waste most of it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
So one person asks a shady question. Who is the shadiest queen on set?
But like shady towards other people?
Yeah, I guess.
Ooh, Vivaldi.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Vivaldi, no, the Countess.
Yeah.
The Countess is the one who could make who like says something like, I don't know, with somebody. Oh, I remember somebody didn't clean their lace well, and she was like, "Oh my god, I love that wig with that hairband." And she just stood there like straight face. I was like, "You shady motherfucker."
Yeah.
You shady motherfucker.
Yeah, she always seemed like she could definitely throw some very like subtle but good shade.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, thank you. That's I guess all the questions we got time for. There were so many others, but I will. We'll end it there. I just had. We'd like to do a quick fire answer question round.
Go.
Just to kind of get a bit to know you a bit. Some of them are drag related questions. Others are just random questions, but just sort of like quick fire questions.
Okay, let's go.
So, lipstick or lip gloss?
Lipstick.
Yes or no, pineapple on pizza?
No. No.
Favorite emoji?
Eggplant.
Okay, we'll ask no questions. Cocktail or champagne?
Cocktail.
And can you summarize your experience on Drag Race in one word?
Short.
Thank you very much. That was great. So, if people want to find you, where can you be found? What's your next project?
So you can find me on Miss Reggy B on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I post all of my. On TikTok, I post like all the funny and the out of drag stuff, and on my Instagram, I post like all my dates where I will be performing and everything. And my next project is, well, I'm going to the UK.
Yes, I saw on Instagram in May, I think, right?
Yeah, in May, I'm going to London and Manchester, and I signed something yesterday for January next year in London, which is going to be very big.
Wow.
I'm gonna be there for 3 days straight. So watch out. Yeah, look out for that. And for now, yeah, I'm here in Amsterdam, in Holland in general. We just cut out of all the restrictions of Corona like yesterday, so we finally get to full on perform. So that's gonna be my first project, to like full on perform and like lots of crowd and lots of people, and yeah.
Great. So if someone's in Amsterdam, where would they go to see a Reggy B show?
Well, I'm at Queen's Head, I'm at Blend XL, I'm at Taboo. Those are like the regular bars and clubs and everything. Club Nix is one as well. That's very cool. But it just depends on the week, because I go on and off with other of my drag sisters. So just follow me on Instagram, and you can see the dates and everything. Yeah.
Great. Well, if I'm in London in May, I will definitely come and see you, because I'd love to see a Reggy B show.
Yeah. Please do.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to this interview. It's been amazing. I'm sure everyone's loved to get to know you, and we would love to see you in any way, whether it's on TV or whether it's on another international All Stars. That would be amazing.
That would be very lovely. Maybe it's a Drag Race Holland season 3, an international All Stars or whatsoever. I will be lovely to be coming back on your screen and salute.
Thank you very much. This has been Reggy B, and thank you so much.
Thank you, baby.